on the deal. It doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I can be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way.
People act like he's so unreasonable, but I see him actually as being quite reasonable. He's right. If you want to get a deal done, you're going to have to kind of bend a little bit. Like, you can't be a complete hard ass. It's just not going to work in terms of negotiations. He can't disrespect Putin and call him a killer and call him a dictator and expect to close a deal with him to bring peace. If peace is the objective, you can't use that tactic. And the liberal media is not, they're not spinning it that way. So if you're on the other side, if you're still watching legacy media, my heart goes out to you.
So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden, of thumping our chest and pretending that...
Now, mind you, a lot of people are upset with J.D. Vance or Vice President Vance for taking this approach, but this is like 40 minutes into a 50-minute discussion between the two, in which you can tell Trump was very forward-facing in the way that he was communicating with the press and with the American people, and Zelenskyy was very much he had conference room table like talking in front of the cameras and really pressed J.D. Vance, like kind of goaded him into a little bit of a debate on diplomacy. So in my view, Vance had every right to push back in some way.
That the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people.
But they won't talk about NATO's expansion. That's a whole different story, but that's a big part of the reason why this is happening now, is because NATO has been violating its agreement since like 1994 and continuing to expand its territory right up to the lines of Russia, So, and now Ukraine wants into NATO. So,
you know what the contact
2015.
I mean, what do they expect Russia to do at some point?
2014.
2014 and 2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022.
I mean, everybody condemns Russia and Putin for what it's doing. We know it's wrong to just invade a country and to just kill innocent civilians, so on and so forth. But are we going to stop at some point and go back and say, okay, how did this come to be? How did this happen? Did we do anything wrong? And the United States was a part of that expansion, that NATO expansion. So, in a sense, our neglect of our agreement perhaps has caused some of this to happen.
Yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president, 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broke the ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners.
So this is a point that I guess Trump doesn't understand or isn't taking into account, which is that they've already tried to ceasefire. What Zelenskyy is seeking is something permanent, so this doesn't happen again. Or when Trump is out of office, Putin feels emboldened to go back in. So he wants something permanent, something other than a ceasefire, because he doesn't think a ceasefire is the way the true solution to end this war. His detractors say that he is making himself rich off this war and just wants more and more money, doesn't want to give up any territory. Zelenskyy said in this meeting earlier in this meeting in the Oval Office that he did not want to give up territory, or that he was not willing to give up territory. So it's going to be very hard for Trump is right. It's going to be very hard to negotiate a deal to bring this to an end, because this only ends by a deal being made. It doesn't just end arbitrarily. They just don't stop tomorrow just because they decide to. This ends in a deal. So Trump is centrally focused on a deal, and I think that really irritates Zelenskyy because he has some other motives.
We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't.
You know, the other thing that I'm noticing is that J.D. Vance and Trump must be, their strategy or the way that they have decided to work together must be pretty fortified, because J.D. felt emboldened to have this confrontation with Zelenskyy right in front of Trump, and Trump let him speak. I like that. It's like he's listening to both sides. He did let both sides speak. He just sat and listened, and that's interesting. Look, I'm trying to observe this person through my own filter, my own understanding of spirits and people and intent and so on and so forth. So pardon me if I don't villainize the man. I'm just trying to observe how he's moving.
Don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering all these
position to
questions.
dictate that.
That's exactly what
Remember
you're
this.
doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about
it. From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You play cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
Now, some people say that Trump is a Russian puppet. I see a person here posted under this video. You're being extremely selective. Trump is a Russian puppet. I don't know. I mean, it's, I don't know why. It just doesn't make sense to me that he would be a Russian puppet. I don't think there's why? He's 78 years old. If Russia wanted a puppet, they can find a younger one. You know what I'm saying? Why would he be so indebted and in love with Russia that he would sell out his own country? I don't know. That's just a little extreme to me.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of
what are you
America
speaking about?
and the president who's trying to save your
Country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not
He's not
speaking
speaking
loudly.
loudly.
He's not speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a minute.
answer?
No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
He has done a lot of
You're not
talking.
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, 350.
Did he just so when he calls Joe Biden, he says through this stupid president, this is a moment where Donald Trump has just become he's unhinged. I mean, he is just forget about decorum, forget about mincing words. I mean, Joe Biden was a stupid president.
$1 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if,
West
if
Virginia?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course,
It's
yes.
going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that there,
thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media.
Yeah.
When you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
Yeah.
very important. That's why I kept this going so long.
Now, look, Trump has said multiple times that he likes to see, he wants the American people to see this. And there's a lot of people in the media, especially in the liberal media, that are just, even in the conservative media, that are just appalled that this whole confrontation was televised. And this is the kind of thing you don't show to the American people. You show in United Front. You have these negotiations behind closed doors. But look, you know, you say FAFO or FAFO, when you find out, when you're in the find out of that whole statement, you kind of get it where you get it. You know what I'm saying? Zelenskyy started this. He is the one that wanted this conversation. He's the one that did it in front of the American press. He's the one that got, you know, that started asking counter questions and wanted the debate. So if you want to do it here, then let's get it. So, I mean, it's what it is at this point.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low
I know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you'd take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But
But
you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a
But
ceasefire.
I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with
a
you.
guy named Biden.
Now, see, this is where, you know, with Trump, it's like he keeps saying it wasn't with me, it wasn't with me. The deal has to outlast you, Trump. So you can't just expect that you can make a deal and that other administrations will honor that. Like, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, this was my reaction to this whole confrontation between the two of them. I think cooler heads will prevail. I think Donald Trump is a mastermind when it comes to marketing. He is a mastermind when it comes to entertainment, especially using, you know, the presidency as entertainment. These moments will go down in American history, and it will be some curves and twists, but the landing will be a peace deal. And once he gets that peace deal, and he's had to kind of strong arm his way to get it, that too will reflect positively on him with the American people. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. This is just my reaction. I looked at this a little bit earlier, but I didn't have a chance to really digest it. And this end piece with J.D. Vance was really gold to see that back and forth in terms of a debate. So don't mind my Gemini mind. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with more.